Here at Pan M360, I am with Jordan Gardner and R-ODERICK of the duet called Ebony. Hi, guys.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
How's it going?
Yeah, well, we're very pleased to have you from Toronto. You guys are based on a sort of aesthetic choice of techno and house, but you build your craft adding a lot of other influences, for example, South African. So can you just explain to us how was it built and was the organic process of your craft and the way it is right now?
That's a good question.
Where to start?
Where to start exactly? It's interesting that people have been finding this South African influence. It actually is more, for me, comes from soca, because I'm half Trinidadian.
Okay, Soca, Jump Up.
Yeah, exactly. So that's sort of more accurately where part of our influence.
Okay, it's more Afro-descendant and African in real time music. Yeah, I see.
The early, when we started, before we started DJing and making music together, we had a club night called Ebony, and we used to play a lot of South African house before we started making it together. So
this is why well, you know, when we read all your bios, it's always written South African influence, but at the same time, I totally agree with you. It can be any kinds of, you know, African popular music as a huge influence of Caribbean. Yeah. So there's a back and forth process since a couple of centuries. So, you know, Caribbean influenced Africa and vice versa, right? So now we are in Canada, in Toronto, and there's another chapter.
Yeah,
definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I just come back to my previous question, my initial question. I mean, you know, techno and house now are always blended. Maybe decades ago it was distinct, but now most of the producers and DJs are using it both, and you know, they're referring on the Chicago invention and the Detroit invention, but now it's somewhere else. I would say we don't question that. We don't see it's techno or house. This is your craft. And what would be for you now? You said Trinidadian music, jump up, soca, calypso, I would say, and the other aspects of electronic music. There's not a lot of Afro soca, the techno soca or techno calypso or house soca, but you're inventing it in a way. You're trying to assemble the materials of this island music to your craft.
Yeah, I mean, I think the lines are starting to now be blurred between all really different genres, and there's a lot of genre bending going on right now. But I think in the fruition of all these genres, there was never really a name first. It was always the music first, and someone else coined the name. And I like that's kind of going back to not even really trying to make a certain genre, but just to make music in the vein of feeling or an emotion.
I think it's a funny thing because now, like let's say it's 1995. The internet wasn't such a prominent resource for sharing music, and you only really got to experience music. Let's say if you were living in Chicago, you only got to experience the music in Detroit, really, if you were there, like in a live context, or when UK Garage just came about in the UK. Maybe you heard a couple of records on the radio, but you kind of had to exist in those social scenes where that music was coming from. But now the line is very blurred, and I think of he's quite a prolific producer. He's from Berlin. His name is Ski Mask, but he's like, you hear his music and he kind of makes music in the styles of a very global sound, but he's like a dude from Berlin, but he'll make anything from like grime to techno to house to two-step to garage. You can't really pigeonhole him, and it's just because. And yeah, like I feel like when people are growing up in their house and then they eventually start making music, they'll the music that they were exposed to while growing up kind of infiltrates their music, whether it's as a DJ, whether it's as a producer. And now, because we have the internet, the influencers are so broad, so everyone is getting a bit of everything. So you might hear steel drums in someone's track and it's like, oh, are they Trinidadian? And it's like, no, they were in Toronto one weekend at Caravana and they were on vacation. They're like, wow, I really like this. I'm gonna put some samples in my music.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a matter to try to find our exact origins in any kinds of culture. It's just a matter of picking what we love. That's it.
Yeah,
definitely.
About the subgenres included in your craft, I saw some elements of well, maybe I'm wrong, but I just felt some elements of ghetto tech or footwork, for example, the Chicago vibe, but in the Toronto way.
yeah. I'm actually like and still am, or I was in the past, but still am a really big fan of Footwork and ghetto tech, and that is definitely, especially our early music, that was always definitely like a thing that was a big influence, Boogie House and all that stuff.
And now where is that now? It's a sort of blend you don't want to call because it's a blend and it's not so important to try to define the recipe itself, but yeah, it's always interesting for us as listeners to just pinpoint some colors. That's it.
Yeah, it's still there. It's just that there's so much more influences now and so much more that we've both learned individually making music, because music in general, playing, whatever, is always, you learn something every day and you'll learn something for the rest of your life. That's the thing that we both love about that. So now it's just like where it was such a prominent part of our music that we were trying to add to it. It's still there. It's just that there's so much more now that it feels a lot smaller, but it's still there.
Yeah, I see. How do you work together? Just explain or just describe a session of creation between both of you.
Well, yeah, it's always been distant. I mean, Jordan lives in Montreal now. I live in Toronto. So it's always been like, I'll start something, I'll send it to Jordan. He'll give ideas, input, maybe even send some loops. I'll add to that, send it back, etc., etc. So it's always sort of been like a back and forth.
It kind of always, yeah, it's funny. It always kind of has been like that. It's always been very distant. It's been rare that we've always been able to be in the same place to make music, even when we lived in the same city for whatever reason. But sometimes like tracks will start, like we'll just be going about our day, then one of us will like send each other a link from like a YouTube video or like a link from like some random video on Twitter, and it's like, listen to this 8-bar video, and it's like at the very end it's like, oh, what if we cut that sample up into 4 bars and pitched it down? And a lot of our tracks really start with the idea of the sample and the loop.
And now when you're on stage, you're obviously together, not distant. And
Very together.
We hope it's not an illusion. Well, there's a chemistry that probably happened through your live sets.
Yeah, well, because we're more predominantly used to DJ sets.
DJ set.
Yeah, and
this time is a DJ set too?
This will be a live set. This will be our first live set, actually.
Okay.
That's out tomorrow. This is for the live set, but the album is out tomorrow.
Well, this is a sort of launching event at the same time.
It is in many ways, yeah.
Sure.
But when we do our DJ sets, we've always had this synchronicity that at least I've never been able to find in anyone else. We could be away from each other for months, years, come back and still know that we're going to play something similar that we both love. And we kind of like that element of performing, surprising each other and the crowd. And it brings like a sort of like a energy of like randomness that, you know, I don't think people are used to. I think they like that.
Yeah.
Did you play a lot as a B2B duet on stage? A lot?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't count how many times. A lot.
Okay, so now it's really tied together for a long time now. So it's a real team, and now this is the new process of presenting a live set and new original music.
Yeah.
So how did it go from the live set to the original composition?
Well, it was the original composition first, and then and then we started compartmentalizing parts and making loops and stuff like that, so that we could still bring that element of randomness to a live set.
Yeah, the live set is more like it's the majority of the album deconstructed, and then some of our favorite of the older releases thrown in there, but we've kept it very loose. I guess the way we've deconstructed the tracks, almost DJ set-esque, where we could just keep on live remixing tracks into each other, but like different parts into each other. So
can we expect some improvisation live also?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll also be doing vocals as well.
Vocals as well.
A lot of friends have been suggesting that I do for many years, sing on our own tracks, and I haven't done it until now. So I'll be
after being encouraged by your friends and your colleagues. It's about time.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they'll all say too.
Many years of persuasion, but we the time.
Yeah, it's excellent. So then we will be able to witness this first live set from Ebony on Friday at the Esplanade Tranquille. So it's a free show. So we invite everybody who's interested to new electronic music, and maybe remember that electronic music was invented by Afro-descendant.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Very true. Yeah.
Yeah, but the place of Afro-descendant on the electronic scene is not necessarily always representing this reality and the origins of techno and house.
That's kind of part of the reason we started Ebony and why we named it something so obvious.
Yeah, it is obvious. It's probably tough to find you on the internet, because if you Google Ebony, you can have a lot of results.
Yeah, we're
a lot of varying results.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, guys from Ebony, Jordan Gardner and R-ODERICK, I thank you very much for this. I wish you a great launch of your live set, your live music in an album. And what is the name of the album?
Union.
Union. Yeah. Because
I mean, it was made in 2020 when there was a lot of civil unrest, specifically with Black people around the world, a lot of cop killings of Black people, and it was kind of a call of action for people to come together.
Yeah, it was also like around that time was a very interesting time, because there was a lot of gangs that used to be like rivals for decades were actually coming together to support, to give support to whoever really needed it at the time. So, I mean, the title track, or one of the title tracks, is called Union. Yeah. So,
okay, we will unite on Friday.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good show in Montreal.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.